Welcome. Welcome. I am Michelle L. Forbes, your Win Win Life coach, and you are tuned into the Win Win Life show right here on this wonderful Sunday afternoon. So, just before we jump on into things, want to ask you two questions, then I'll share the promo. Have you ever had a mistake? Hmm? Have you ever made a mistake? And what is fear? We'll be looking a little closer into answering those two questions here this afternoon. Tune in to this promo. Yes, so have you ever made a mistake? Have you ever made a mistake? And what is fear? So let's look at the mistake first. So you've made a mistake. What about it? Let's say you started out with a particular line of business, and like after some time, you just not clicking. It's just not clicking. Just like I made a mistake in the choice of business I chose to step out in. What do you do? What do you do? Then at that time, it's called for assessment time. It's a mistake. Yes. Will there be some amount of loss during that? Yeah. Financially, you'd experience some loss because this is not the line of business that I'm to be in. So it's like I've lost funds in going that route along that path. Whilst I should have been doing this other. Yes. For sure. But is there anything that you could learn from that mistake? Was it that you were too quick to make a decision concerning that business opportunity? Was it that you didn't scope out the market to see what area you felt more pulled in? Did you stop, like do some internal work to find out what really am I passionate about? What really do I feel called to show up and do and execute within this earth? Some key questions to ask as you look at, boy, I don't think I should have made that move, As you look at right there and as you're assessing it and you look right, you stop right there and you begin to look. Those are some key questions to ask. And following that, what can I learn from this move, this step, this direction, this opportunity that I moved towards that I really shouldn't have? Is there anything that I could learn to carry that, bundle it up, put it within my saddle, and journey on to the thing that I'm supposed to actually be doing? Is there anything from that experience, from that time, that I could take and use it for where I'm going and what I'm going to be doing? Is there? I'm pretty certain there is. I am pretty certain there is. I have absolutely walked that path. So I'm sharing that with you. I'm asking you that question because that has been a part of my journey. I would have started out in one business, two business, three business, four business, because I know I am an entrepreneur. I'm called to entrepreneurship. There is no question about it. I'm a marketplace minister. And so as I'm sharing with you this afternoon, I'm sharing from that place that I know. I remember the first one that I stepped out in as we came to Canada was Amway. And I can tell you, whoa, it pulls a lot of your time. And it causes you just to zoom in you're trained to zoom in, like zone out family, friends, and to zone in on you building your team. So some gems I walk away from that line of business for me: teamwork. How powerful it is when you have a team saying the same thing with the same heart, one heart, working with towards the same vision, saying the same thing, going with momentum, as opposed to a team that not quite sure what are we working towards. Who's going to make the first step? Like, what are we going to be doing? Powerful. That's a gem that I walked away with. The power gem of being committed to personal development. So there was a book that we had to read every month. And then not only just read it and just you're just left to read the book, but also pulls you into accountability. Gem number 3, accountability, where every Friday we would meet, and it was a session where it is training you on the products, but also lined with personal development, where we had to share, we're called upon to share on that book of the month that we're reading on. So the question then begs to ask, was it really a mistake venturing into Amway first? Because all those gems I am now using and will be implementing as I continue to grow as a marketplace minister, myself, and the businesses that I will operate. And so when we look at that word mistake, was it really a mistake? Should I have not gone into Amway, or should I have? Would I have picked up these somewhere else along some other path? We'll choose not to get engrossed in that. What we'll do is we'll look at it. Okay, Amway wasn't quite your fit, but you learned. You have some gems that you now use and will be using as you continue on your entrepreneurial journey, Michelle. So I wonder for you, what thing you would have branded as a mistake, I shouldn't have, and you just lay it to the side and moved on to the next, but didn't quite assess it, didn't quite look into it to see, is there anything that I could have learned or have learned? Because sometimes we learn in the background, and is when we show up at a place for a thing, to do a particular thing, or called upon, that we realize, oh, I'm equipped in doing this thing or that thing. Would have come through the so-called mistake. So I say to you, if it is that you would have gone off on a path, whether it be a project, a line of career, a line of business, and you're just feeling like this is not it, I need to move, I need to shift. As you are making the decision to shift, be sure to learn everything that you are to learn from being in that place and space among those set of people. Don't just put it down. There's some things that you need to grab from that to move on your journey to the next. Yes? Before I jump into answering the question on fear, I'd like to share with you again on our promo. Be sure to pick up your copy. We have Christmas coming up just now, and it would be an awesome gift for whoever the individual that you would bless with it. Be sure to bless yourself and bless somebody else. Your own copy of the I Am Loved and Affirmed Gratitude Journal. It is powerful piece of manual. So the matter of fear. What is fear? Is fear real? The very popular definition we hear of fear is false evidence appearing real. And so as I was looking into this to come and share with you today, I have an unconventional way of going at it. And so when I say to you this afternoon, surrender to fear, I wonder what is the first thought that come to mind? Surrender? Like, Michelle, are you sure you know what you're talking about? Yeah. Surrender to fear. And immediately the visual that I get with that is, as parents, when we're growing up, sometimes our children think they're strong and they try to wrestle you. And then they like, you hold your hands, especially the boys that they're playing like they're police and they hold your hands and like you're under arrest and you just yield and go with them, making them think for real that they got you and they're strong. And you go along with them. That's what I mean when I said surrender to fear. Go along with it. Go right along with it. So you're fearful of stepping out and fixing up that application and submitting it for that job position that you have had your eyes on for how long? Go along with the fear. And going along with such a fear means you don't do nothing. You just stay there and you're fearful and you entertain the fearful thoughts and you go along with it. Don't do anything. Don't submit that application because you're so fearful that it will be rejected that they won't even consider you, that you won't even make it on the list of persons that they will call for an interview. Okay, go along with it. All right. As you go along with it, I want you to sit right there with it. And this is what you're going to do. Especially the boys, again, whenever you give them a toy, especially those with a curious mind, and they're at the stage where you could give them toys like trucks and bikes and planes and whatever the toy would be, they would pull it apart. They would pull it apart, pull it apart, pull it apart, pull that toy completely apart. Try to put it back together. For that first one, it would be so unsuccessful, especially the younger they are. The putting it back together will come the more they pull it apart. The more they pull it apart, the more toys they get, the more they pull apart. They begin to get the skill, acquire the skill, build the skill on how to put it back together. Put it back together. It's like puzzle pieces. With fear, as you surrender to it, say, okay, all right, I'm not going to send in the application. So what are you going to do then? You're going to sit there and you're going to pull that fear apart. Put and establish all the different scenarios that you think would happen if you submit that application. All the different scenarios that would come to you. They won't accept it. They'd peruse it and they won't even shortlist you. You won't get a call. Peruse the whole thing and ask investigative questions concerning that job and the one move that needs to be taken, which is complete the application and submit. But so fearful that it won't be rejected, that it will be rejected. Pull that fear apart. And as you pull it apart, really sit and look at it, assess it. Like, okay, so if they receive the application, peruse it, put it aside. Mm, not shortlist you, don't come on, you don't make it to the list of those persons who they call. You get that letter. I've had several of them when I was looking for a job after finishing my studies here in Canada. You get that letter in your email saying, thank you for your application, but we're sorry to advise you that you did not make it to the list, and we've filed your letter. So in the event anything becomes available, we can reach out to you, yada, yada, yada. So you peruse it all. Take it even further. Okay. Another version. You got accepted. And in terms of you made it to the list and they called you for an interview. Think of all different things. What could happen on the interview? Maybe you show up late or they show up late. The camera, we were doing it virtually. The camera just not functioning as it should. The lights, you ask some question and you fumble on the question. Lay it all out. Pull it completely apart. And then sit right there with the whole, just like the child with the toy, the whole, let's say it's a car, the whole car, just sit there, pulled apart, and you look at it. Okay. What is scareful about this pulled apart toy? What really is scary about it? What really is scary about you not making it to the list? You've been asked a question and you fumble over it. The camera just behaving wacky, or the lights going out. What really is fearful about that? Nothing. In fact, if you look deep enough, you should catch a real good laugh. Like, why would my camera works fine all the time? Why would my camera choose on the day, the time that I have an interview to just behave wacky? And the lights go out, like all of these things work fine all the time. It should generate within you a resounding laugh that come from your belly button as you sit and you assess that fear, pulling it apart, pulling it apart, pulling it apart, and assess it like, what really is there within you to fear? Nothing. After you come to that conclusion, the next move is get up and step out in faith. Step out in faith with faith-filled actions and releasing faith-filled words and aligning your vision with faith-filled images. Yes? I'm going to leave you there with that this afternoon. And I want for you to just sit and settle right there with that. Become very clear as you pull apart that fear and come to the conclusion there is nothingness in fear. Nothingness that wants to bring you to nothingness. But by your stand this afternoon, after you finish and you come to that conclusion, your stand is, I will arise and I will go. And as you're going, you're stepping, you're moving, you're thinking, you're speaking in faith. I want to bless you this afternoon. You have a wonderful rest of the day. And until we meet and see each other again, Happy New Year, Rosh Hashanah. If you observe the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah to you and your household. God bless you richly as you go through the rest of this day and as you embark on this brand new week. God bless you. Love you loads.